I apologize, we were waiting for some paperwork. We just received it, so as soon as I get the okay, we're going to get this thing going. Okay. At this time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for Friday, September the 29th of 2023 in the council chambers. I have with us today District 2 Grady Simpson, District 4 Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, and District 5 Phil Robinson. Not with us this evening is District 3 Mayrani Velasquez, Mayor Pro Tem, but she is excused. At this time, I would ask that Pastor Brother John Lowry come forward from the First Baptist Church in Terrell, lead us in invocation. If you would, please stand, remain standing for the pledges, and then, Pastor, if you'd wait for me right afterwards for just a moment.
Our Father, we are thankful, God, just for the great privilege of being able to approach your throne and beseech your help. And Lord, I come to you on behalf of this city and the leaders of this city and the men and women, boys and girls that inhabit this city. Our desire, God, is for you to lead and guide and bless. We know that you can. We know that you have, and we're thankful for your faithfulness to us over the many, many years. But God, we want you to, Lord, just be honored in and through the city, through the men and women, the people that make up the city. I thank you for this group, and I thank you, Lord, for their commitment to even keep prayer as a part of this time. And I pray that you would guide their decisions. Father, each one that speaks, Lord, may you guide their thoughts, and may you be glorified in this place. Lord, we love you. We thank you again for this great nation that you've given us. We thank you for the faithfulness that you've demonstrated to our nation, to our state, to our city. And Lord, we just pray that you would continue, your presence would continue to be felt among us. Lord, we pray this in the powerful name of Jesus, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
So I would like for everybody to know that Brother Lowry is true in his heart and his mind, and those that serve at First Baptist Church here in Terrell. We want to thank you for the service that you provide. Faith-based is real important to the mayor and the rest of the council. I'd like to present to you a challenge coin. It's our sesquicentennial year, the 1873 2023 coin with the logos of the city on there. We challenge you to continue to do good work on behalf of the Lord for the city of Terrell. So thank you so much. If we were thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Let's see, our next item on the agenda is mayor and council community recognition and events. Does anybody have anything?
Mayor, can I recognize a staff person? There really are very few people in the city of Terrell who meet the Steve Rogers qualifications. This is a guy who graduated from high school here, did what we wish a lot of people would do, went to college, got his degree, came back and served the city of Terrell, and did it for decades, and did it in a magnificent and wonderful way. If you wanted to, and some people do, cut him open, you would find nothing but a heart that bleeds for Terrell. And he loves the city, and the fact that he brought his love for the city to work every day for decades means he's going to be very, very sorely missed. I consider him somebody who helped mentor me when I first showed up that I could learn from. And he's really had that heart. Whenever you see new folks show up in our organization, Steve always wants to take them out, drive exceedingly too fast around the city, and talk about Terrell and his love for Terrell. And I don't believe at all that we have seen the last of Steve Rogers. I think there's a lot more Steve Rogers that we will be seeing in service to this city. I promised that this was not going to be the ceremony day, so it's not the ceremony day. I was told by my dear friend Steve Rogers that he's planning his own event, thank you very much, and because you know he would want to put his finger on it, and we'll all go to that sometime in 2024 and celebrate a great career. But I didn't want to let it pass without just saying thank you to Steve Rogers, because you deserve a great thank, not just from the elected officials and me and from staff. You deserve a thank you from the city, of all the people who live in the city who take for granted and don't necessarily understand the amount of work and dedication that goes into making this a great city and making everything operate correctly. And you did a great job during your time here, so thank you very much.
Yep. I'd like to add to what Mike has said. I've had the great privilege and opportunity to work with Steve on several occasions. Earlier in my political career as a councilman from District 5, Henry Madrick was the mayor then, and you know, we have a great staff, we really do, all of them, and their hearts are always in the right place. But for Rogers, the Rogers family, the Carmona family, all growing up here in town, we all knew each other. Steve really loved and was really committed to the city, and that didn't mean we didn't agree on everything, but he would let you know. And you know what? He was convincing in his arguments, and we always did what was right for the city. And that's what we need of our staff, is to step forward and say, hey, you know, this is where I think we need to be moving towards. So Steve was very instrumental in getting us to where we are today. And for that, Steve, I'd like to say thank you, be on the record of saying that you will be missed. You have a lot of knowledge, and I hope that you're just a phone call away should any of us need you. So if you would, please come forward. I got something for you. I'm told Steve never received a cookie, right? The mayor gets them all, whatever's left over. So we have a dozen cookies with the city logo on them. So eat your heart out.
Thank you. He finally gave you a cookie.
So staff, look, council, he's got a dozen. He can never say we never gave him a cookie. And then also, here's one of our challenge coins, man.
Okay.
Use it at the bar, flip it, whatever you want to do. Enjoy your retirement, man. He's not done yet.
Yeah. Mayor, could I have
Yes.
just the same thing?
Yes.
I share the same sentiments about my respect for Mr. Rogers. We kind of tease him and say he's the old man at City Hall. You know, I heard that, but I find him to be a friend now. He's been an encouragement just throughout my life. Even when I got on the council, he extended, you know, that support, and just he was always a gentleman. I mean, when we go places for training and education, he's right there. I can always expect to see him, but he is outspoken, and I respect that the most about him. You're going to know where he stands. It's not going to be any ambiguity, but he is a man of that's really respected by me, and I call him a friend now, and I wish him the best in his endeavors, and we're going to let him plan whatever he wants, because that's just how it is, and we're going to just listen and follow and show up. And I'm going to make sure I'm on time for that one. All right. Thank you for your service to the city.
Real quickly, Mayor, I want to say, Steve, every time we went off on some function, he was always rushing us, moving fast, right? It's not always important to increase speed, Steve, but I'm gonna tell you, in your retirement, slow down, man, enjoy. It's been great.
All right. Well, thank y'all for those comments. Our next item on the agenda is hear remarks from visitors. Do we have any? Item number 6 is adoption of the minutes. Discuss and consider the minutes from the regular city council meeting on September the 12th of 2023. This is going to be 6.1. Are there any, is there a motion on the minutes?
Yes, Mayor, a motion to approve the regular city council meeting September 12th, 2023.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve the regular city council meeting minutes on September the 12th of 2023. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda. Okay. Next agenda is discuss city facility naming committee. This is going to be handled by Mr. Sims.
So Mayor and Council, I'll come up here because sometimes it's just easier to do that. And this is a quick item, but I think extremely important. Some of us would observe that there are very important things that have not been named correctly in the city of Terrell and that need to get a name assigned to them. So a couple of years ago, we started working on this, and we had the Street Topper program, and some of you were on council at the time will recall, we got some Street Topper requests, and we were like, wait a minute here, we need to make sure that we process this last one, and then we need to take a pause and figure out, are we really happy with our Street Topper program? When we passed that resolution to put pause on that, we also said, let's make a naming committee to look at the policy and then decide if they wanted to go ahead and give us some naming recommendations. And so think about it like this. We've got roads in the city of Terrell that say county road such and such on them. Well, they've been annexed into the city, some of them for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they still have that county road designation on them. So we need to name those, and that's got to be through council action. We have my traditional thing to observe for you, which we own 3 Great Lakes. We actually own 4 lakes. One of them has a name. One of them is just nicknamed State Hospital Lake, and it never really had a proper name to it. One of them is officially named Old City of Terrell Lake, and then another one is officially named New City of Terrell Lake. And I will tell you, somebody in 1954 should have done better than to name it New City of Terrell Lake. It's not new anymore, and we really need an official name. Councilman Simpson and I have talked about this more than once. How do we get a name on there, and what's the right name for it? Then I would say that several of our parks have examples like this. There might be a little stretch of road close to a park. Councilwoman Thomas has brought one of those up to our attention. There might be facilities at some of our parks that might need a name. So for example, you could have a softball complex name, or you could have a basketball court name, or you could have a community center name. You could name a lot of different things at individual parks, and we've never really gone down that pathway to get that done. Now, here's my observation. The last time we did this, we stalled out, and I think we stalled out because the resolution said each council person was only going to get to nominate one person to a naming committee. And I'm going to just go out on a limb here and suggest this to you. I think the problem with why we never could get names is I think each of the elected officials would have preferred to be naming 2 or 3 people to a naming committee as opposed to just have one. So I'm going to ask you guys to think about this, because what I'd like to be able to do is bring the resolution back, reform the naming committee, but instead of having it be a 5-member committee, it probably ought to be a 10-member committee or a 15-member committee. So my suggestion is put your thoughts to that. decide what you'd like to see, and the next time it's on the agenda, I'll ask you for, okay, what number should we stick in there? And then instead of being sort of handcuffed to only be able to recruit one, you can go out and recruit 2 or 3 members for it, and I think everybody kind of feel better about that being a larger process. And from a staff point of view, we'd be happy to kick that effort off whenever council names the full members of the committee. So Mayor, that's a quick report on that. It's a discussion item for today only. Excuse me, today it's only a discussion item, and I'll bring it back just as soon as y'all want me to.
Yeah, so real quick, I think if each of the council members were to do 2, that would be 8. And if I did 1, that would be 9 and uneven. And I think you want them oddly numbered in case there's you don't want a tie vote on something on the committee. So council, if you would think about it, would you rather do 2 or 3? And it's open to either, but certainly a thought. Do y'all need to ask Michael any questions?
Do we have any sort of qualifications we're looking for someone on that naming committee? Any sort of a historical connection to Terrell, or?
I believe right now the only rule in that resolution may be that it's a city resident. And outside of that, it'd just be up to y'all's discretion for who you'd like to assign to the job, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. When would you like those names by?
I'll go as fast as y'all want me to. You want me to bring it back? Maybe October 17th would be a city council meeting, if that's reasonable for y'all?
Go ahead, Grady. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, I was reading your mind then. Okay, so let's try to shoot for October the 17th.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Happy to do it.
thank you. Next item on the agenda is discuss appointments, reappointments to the Park and Downtown Improvement Corporation. It's going to be handled by our City Secretary, Don Stahl.
Yes, Mayor and Council, in your packet is information regarding the Paddock Board. We have Matt Oakley and Mayrani Velasquez that are both going to be, their terms expire in December. And I have a letter from Matt Oakley expressing his desire to stay on the board. Mayrani would not, she doesn't want to continue to serve, and that is a place that council would appoint.
Okay, good. So on that one, if you would, please, if you're interested in the Park and Downtown Improvement Corporation, please let me know. Oh, you got some more?
No.
For the Mayrani, and I think Oakley, who is wanting to be reappointed, I think she would be supportive of that, but I would like for the new council Paddock Board appointee to weigh in on that before we do that.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the bylaws call for the seat that Councilman Velasquez is leaving. The bylaws call for that to be an elected official from the city council.
Yeah.
That's what the bylaws are looking for there.
Okay, all right. And you can just reach out to me between now and the next council meeting. Next is 6.3, discuss appointment, reappointment of the tax increment reinvestment zone number 1, 2, 3, and 4 boards and the Power Center Board. This is again Don Stahl.
Yes, Mayor and Council, in your packet is the TERS board roster. We have Charles Whitaker, whose term expired in May, and Mike Hunt as well. Mike is appointed by the county, so I have reached out to them and asked them if they would like to reappoint him or someone else. And Charles Whitaker will, if you would so wish, he can be reappointed.
Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is discuss October, November, and December 2023 calendar. Again, this is Mr. Sims.
So, Mayor and Council, this is the item where we're always looking for feedback on folks' ability to make the meetings and whether or not there's anything that you see as a conflict or an issue on any of this. Next week has TML in it, so we won't meet as a city council meeting next Tuesday, but we do have public hearings, I believe, both on the 24th and the 17th, and then we've got quite a few items on that October 10th agenda, and so we are proposing 3 different meetings in October. The next page has the November meeting schedule in order to get our work done in November. Staff's going to suggest a 7th and a 14th meeting in November. And then in December, you can see the 5th has the city council meeting with tree lighting. the Christmas tree lighting on December the 5th. That tends to be a rather light agenda for us, and so we'll also need that 12th meeting to knock out any last meeting before the end of the year. So as always, that's just an opportunity for you guys to weigh in and say whether or not you've got any concern over the next 3 months, and I'll hand it back to you, Mayor.
Go back to November, please. So the purpose of doing back-to-back in November 7th and 14th is to give council the Thanksgiving week off, rather than to be on the 7th and the 21st, and also our staff, I'm guessing, may be wanting some time off there.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the staff point of view, having no meeting on the 28th makes the holiday weekend a holiday weekend. So
Great.
that was part of the idea there.
All right. Do you have any questions on the dates yet? Okay, good. All right, thank you. Our next item on the agenda is discuss city council meeting length and frequency. Again, I didn't say anything about those months because I knew we were going to be taking this up next, right? And this was 2 council members who said, hey, let's talk about this. This is a discussion item. So this is an opportunity to discuss, debate, whatever you want to say, and I'll let either one of you chime in, and we'll go from there.
Want me to start, Stephanie? It doesn't matter to me. Okay. So it's been noted that often so many items are packed in our agendas that we sort of end up feeling compelled to sort of rush through the ends of meetings potentially, and some items to be receiving maybe more discussion, deliberation, and also the additional problem is that we tend to receive an agenda for the Tuesday meeting late on Friday, late in the day. It gives us very short time to go through the agenda. If we want to just deliver our homework, when the agenda is maybe 400 pages in length, from late Friday until Tuesday, and then we only have one business day of Monday to talk to staff, and prepare ourselves for the meeting on Tuesday. So kind of the thinking is, to be better prepared and give these items the discussion and deliberation they deserve, it would be more efficient to do a meeting every 2 weeks, and to not rush through the meeting and to give each item the attention it deserves, have a shorter meeting agenda. So I know that's, we want to move fast. We want to make sure that we're staying on top of all the different needs we need to address with the city, but it doesn't do anybody any favors if we're having to rush through these items and not give them the attention they deserve. I understand the job to move forward and make progress, but we got to make sure we're making the right decisions. I've had some conversations with other councilmen from other various cities as well, and they indicated to me that the amount that we meet and the size of our agendas is much larger and frequently than is the norm.
Okay.
So it's kind of that's sort of where we stand currently. Stephanie and I were kind of pushing for this, but I'll let Stephanie offer her thoughts as well.
So let's take one at a time so that we can make sure we are clear on everything. Is it let's see, it's the amount of items or the number of items that we're considering that is an issue, right? Because usually they present on Tuesday for the following week, a week from that Tuesday where staff is here and we're just having a discussion item, and then we have a delay in the following week on that Tuesday, even though it's on the agenda on Friday. We've been briefed on it that Tuesday.
Sometimes.
So sometimes, right. And it's rare that we get an agenda item where we haven't discussed it unless it's time sensitive. And in those cases, I don't know that for it being time sensitive, that we would be able to, and we certainly don't want to rush anything, but that would be the only time I would think. So that's the one issue. The second one is the every other week is you're wanting to go to.
And I was also thinking kind of along with that, I think it might make more sense to do sort of a, the meeting every other week, and maybe we have a monthly workshop where we kind of have a more open discussion situation. So it's sort of a one meeting where we kind of work through some details and then have official meetings with shorter agendas twice a month.
So I've too talked to some of the mayors and how they've been doing this. And when I say that, it's really local within the Kaufman County. We have a Kaufman County Mayors Association that meets monthly, and just me trying to get some feedback. There are some councils that meet like, say they're going to have a meeting on Tuesday. On that Tuesday, they come in at 5 for a 7 o'clock meeting. So for 2 hours prior to the meeting, they're having a workshop. Would you like that model versus the model we currently have, or you don't have a problem with the model, but you want it less frequent?
Well, the only reason for the less frequent number of meetings would be so that we have the time to, because, I like to do my homework, Mayor. I like to make sure I've talked to
Sure.
everyone involved.
Yeah.
I like to make sure I've visited the location. I want to make sure I understand every piece of the issue. But if I see an issue for the first time on Friday, I don't have much time to prepare myself by Tuesday. So I want to make sure we have the time to do that. And having the meetings every, maybe a workshop once a month to address upcoming issues and make sure we're familiar with them, and then a meeting every 2 weeks. To me, that would be a good model. That's what I'm proposing.
Okay. All right, Stephanie?
Yeah, I think my colleagues have heard this before. When I decided to run for council, first thing I did, I picked up the city charter and read it. I can do this. We meet every other week. I've been on the council over 2 years, and that hadn't been the case. We haven't been following the city charter. I may have to talk to legal to find out, how we can change it to continue to meet every week, but I just kind of walked into something that I didn't know. I want the communication to be honest with me as a council member and any other person that's potentially wanting to be on the council. I do not want to deter a person that wants to serve our community in this capacity because you're meeting every week and we're doing it. I understand that there are special situations that come up when we have to, but when I look at, the Frisco from 1991 to the Frisco now, 220 or 30,000 people, they've really grown a lot. They were smaller than we were in 91, but they managed somehow with that growth to meet every other week. I don't know what we're doing that may cause us to meet every week. It is a concern of mine. It's been a concern. I'm even worried about city staff and the resources that we're using to meet every Tuesday. That's a concern for me because I know our staff have to be paid. I know the light bill has to be paid. We have our public safety officers out there, taking care of us and making sure we're safe. So I'm looking at the picture as a whole. So it's a lot. I do need more time on items. I've been asked for more time on items, and sometimes I believe I can't get the time I need, and that's a concern for me. And I'm not going to keep servicing the community like this because I do work. I don't want to deter people that's working and paying taxes. I do not want to deter them from running for these type of offices. It's important to have that type of input from regular people that still have to work to make a living for their family. So with that being said, I do share the same sentiments as Mr. Robinson. It may be from another different angle, but I know we can grow. We can grow fast, and we can grow tenfold. And I think we can still get the work done by adhering to a schedule of twice a month. If we have to have some special meetings, I understand that. That's understandable, but it's, the agenda's long. I mean, I'm thinking having an 8-page agenda, that's a lot to me when you look at all the items that go on a page. I think it's a lot, 400 pages, 200. We've had an over 1,000-page agenda. That's a lot to absorb and live and still be productive, a productive citizen, a productive family member, and that's just my concern.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question for everybody's, make sure I'm,
Hold on, Mike.
Go ahead.
Hold on, that's a question. Let's let Grady. Did you want to say something, Grady?
Oh, yes, Mayor.
Or you want to listen? Go ahead.
Just real quickly, I know the city of Terrell is growing, and I know there's some demands on the council. The way I look at it, this is what I signed up for. However, I'll be willing to support the council in terms of where they want to go, but me personally, it's always challenging, but, we just do it and get the job done. But maybe we can have a pilot program in terms of what Councilman Phil is talking about, but I'll just listen, absorb any information, and give support.
Yeah, no, so here's my comments to the group, is we're gonna do what the majority wants, right? That's what we should be doing as a council. What I'll tell you, though, is if you feel like you don't have enough information on an item that's coming up, and I expect at some point, each and every one of you would have something on one of those lengthy items that just you don't have all the information you need. What I would say in that instance is none of us are paid to work for the city. We have staff that are paid to work for the city to be able to inform us of those issues. And I'll give you, for instance, if you've never delved into financial statements, and we're having to approve some financial issues, that's why we have our finances in place to get us the information that we need as best that we need it, right? The other thing would be, if you've never been in code enforcement, you probably don't understand all that's and what's going on with code enforcement, but we have a staff member to reach out. These other cities that are bigger and meet less frequency, I guarantee if you went and checked, their staff's quite a bit larger. I'm sure that Frisco's got staff and staff on top of staff that are telling the council. So I wouldn't beat ourselves up because we don't feel 100% on everything, but you should feel good enough to be able to vote yes or no. And if you don't, then that's bad on the mayor for not giving you that time and that resource to do so. So I'll take the blame on anything there. Mike, you did want to say something.
I'm just trying to get to provide the service y'all are looking for here. So if I were to ask if we're interested in more frequent, I don't want to say the wrong word, but if the model is 2 evening meetings per month to do action items, and then to have a workshop each month, are you indicating that you think that a daytime workshop is fit in the bill, or is a daytime workshop problematic? I want to make sure I'm understanding the suggestion.
I'm not as concerned about the time specifically, like what time the meeting occurs, but I would think the workshop would be sort of an as-needed situation. We have a workshop as needed as items are arising in the agenda coming up in the future, and then we have the actual official council meeting every 2 weeks where we actually vote on the action items. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So I don't care what time of day it takes place, but yes, a monthly workshop as needed, and then the actual council meeting every 2 weeks.
Is there any other feedback folks would have?
I don't want an 8-hour workday.
Yeah, that's too simple.
I just need to put that out there, because we gave up, we used to meet at 6, and we all agreed to meet, at 7, then, I gave up an hour, but I thought it'd be some release time somewhere else when I came on. So I'm gonna have to just put it out there and just be honest. I don't mind with those workshops, but I don't want an 8-hour workshop where I feel like I've done a 8-hour shift of nursing or whatever, okay? Yeah. I've had a lot of those days in 30 years, so I just want to be honest. I understand that we have to discuss some things. I'm okay with having some discussion items on those Tuesdays that we do meet. I just think, I don't know if it's just priority, just getting us focused on things that we're working on, or maybe we just, it's kind of an old saying, old adage, too many irons in the fire. I know we want to do everything, and we got to get it done now because we're moving and the growth is coming to Terrell, but my philosophy is, first, I want to take care of the people that's here, and that I'm here because of those people. We will take care of you if we come. If we take care of those people here very well, other people will come because they'll be marketing for us. They'll be talking about how great the city of Terrell is. But I'm not going to spend a lot of my energy building something or saying, okay, we're getting these people here. I want to make sure I don't neglect the hometown people, the people that are here, that's been working, that's been building Terrell and making us who we are. So with that being said, I just want to be honest. It doesn't matter to me if it's action items, discussion items on Tuesday nights. We could have a little of both. But we might just need to minimize or just kind of get a priority, and maybe the arrow needs to be narrow at the front versus this square or rhombus-shaped design where we got this massive stuff that's going on. And I don't mind multiple items, but it's just like sometimes it's overwhelming. And I think if we just say, hey, what's 10 priorities instead of 20? I think that's reasonable. But whatever that looks like, I just don't want to be here for 8 hours, even on our workshop days.
All right, so-
And I'm willing. I'm not a quitter. It's just who I am and how I was born. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do what I need to do as a council member. I've been doing it, but I know other council members share the same concerns because I've heard it, and you've heard it from me multiple times, and that's why I wanted this item on the agenda.
Well, so here's what I want for everybody to understand. The reason behind you feeling like, man, we're just got so many irons in the fire. Some of them won't pan out. But the last thing that the mayor or the council or Mike wants, I'm speaking for Mike, but I'm hoping he's the same mindset, is that we don't want you surprised. From the day somebody comes to us and requests something, we should let you know so that you are abreast of what's happening and what's going on, and that you're not surprised all of a sudden that we work a deal and now it's before you and you didn't have any input or had no idea that we were even looking in that area of the city to do something. So really what I need to know is, are you comfortable with the mayor and Mike talking to these developers or talking to whomever and getting somewhat of an agreement together and then presenting it to council? Or would you rather know, as we know, that something's in the works?
I don't think it's gonna kill a developer to wait an extra month if it's a good project, or an extra week or so. If it's something we need to shift, the priorities can always change. It's based on need, on what's going on. But, I mean, I like that you guys bring those things to us when you hear of them. But, I mean, I don't know if the number of developers that come to you on a weekly basis, a daily basis, which ones are valid, which ones are substantiated, which ones are ones we want to get behind and champion them. Those are the kind of things I would have to know. But, yeah, I do like that. But I just know there's bigger cities that's grown a lot faster than Terrell, Texas, and maybe we just need help with identifying how we do that without so many growing pains. And this may just be a growing pain that Phil and I have a problem with. We just might need to.
I just want to kind of get to the nitty-gritty of providing the service to you. So I'm hearing that you want to try to avoid 8-hour workshops. Okay, I can take that input. You want to have fewer evening meetings. If I ended up with a half-day workshop that was a daytime half-day workshop, would that be something that we might get some interest in and might be able to schedule those from time to time? Because I would tell you that would help staff a lot.
I'd be willing to try that for sure. But what I'm looking to avoid is these situations where we look at the clock, it's getting closer to 9 o'clock, and everybody's getting antsy, and there's still important things on the agenda that need to be addressed that deserve discussion because they impact our citizens, and we're feeling pressured to kind of go through them too quickly. So I want to avoid. I don't want that to be. What I'm going to do going forward is, in those circumstances, I'm just going to go ahead and motion to postpone them, because to me, if the agenda is too long and we can't adequately discuss these items, then they shouldn't be on the agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If it's on a second reading, though, we've already passed it and discussed it.
Sure. If it's
So I want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. On the consent agenda, those items have already been discussed and considered. And we're just passing for a second time. There may be something that you see on the consent agenda if that's the direction you want to go, because I know councils that put everything on a consent agenda, and those items that need to be discussed, the council member will pull that off. So that's another option for us. But what I think we need to do now is let Mike take the information that he's heard from each of us and come up with a plan for the council of meetings moving forward. Now, we got to be fair to Mike, and we can't say, hey, get it to us next week, right? Because we've already got, you've seen the schedules already. But he has, I listened to you, because if you look at November, there's 2, and in December, there's 2. So those 2, they're not every 2 weeks, but they are just 2, and that's because of the holidays that he's not able to do that. But let's let Mike, and I encourage you to reach out and go by and see him and see where he is and get your input. Don't wait until we get up here and discuss. A lot of times those that are dialing in through social media or watching us on live, they haven't been here when we've had our discussions, and they're just seeing us take the votes. So they may think that there's not any, but really, before I vote on it, I know when I come in here, I've already done my homework and where I stand on it. And I think, I know all of you do that. And so if there's anybody out there that would question yours or Stephanie's or Grady's or Mayrani's commitment to this council and the dedication to the discussion and a debate of it, I can tell them they're wrong if they feel like you haven't done that, because I know each and every one of you do. But this is good. That's why we have it on here.
And I would be open to a day of the week.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
And you just have to tell me based on my schedule for the semester. I can try to see if I can make that work.
Yes, ma'am.
And, but just let me know. I would be open to that.
All right,
And
thank you.
And lastly, just give Mike some kind of direction from council. What I would like to see specifically is some pretty clear parameters around meeting length, like set forth, the number of agenda items that we're going to have in a meeting, just kind of a standard for that. And, or perhaps maybe it's a time length, something that gives us a very clear, so it doesn't vary so much from week to week. Sometimes it's 1,000 pages, sometimes it's 200 pages, sometimes it's more. Let's kind of put some parameters around how long the meeting should be and what we've got to digest in that short amount of time to prepare ourselves for the meeting.
Yeah, so my only comment to that would be that you would require the mayor to interrupt discussion and say, hey, we've only got, if we're going to stick to our schedule and we're going to see all of those agenda items on, you may only get to speak once, rather than the model that I have currently is, listen, I want you to be able to speak and say everything you want. And if another member talking triggers you and you think you need to say something, I'm going to give you that opportunity. However, if we're under time constraint, then I may not, as the person with the gavel, say we can do that. So
That would
we
be
need
the
to be real
opposite.
careful. Yeah, we would.
Yeah, okay, good.
I don't know.
That would be the opposite of what I would want. What I'm wanting is to make sure we have enough time to discuss each item. I want them to get fully fleshed out. So if we're having to stifle discussion, that doesn't achieve the goal I'm looking for.
Exactly.
I just want us to be able to fully discuss the items by having a shorter agenda.
Right, but in the real world, that would be great, but
Yeah.
we don't know
Sure.
what the discussion is, how long it's going to be, or
Yeah.
whether or not you're going to need more time, or Grady's going to need more time. And I don't want to cut anybody off. I want you to be able to speak, right?
Sometimes Mayrani may trigger a question, or somebody may ask a question, and I have another question that comes
I
up.
know, right.
So I do like that ability to chime in again where we're not limited.
Yes.
So however we have to work it, have it work. It's not a
Well-
beat the agenda
Down.
developer down or the mic down. We're here for the city, we're here for the community, and we're in, but we just want to make sure that, that we can get everything answered and don't feel like we're pressured. Because if I got to be here at 11 to 12,
Right.
be at clinicals at 6 the next morning, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Because y'all are that important, this city and this community is that important to me. But I just want to make sure he knows it's not,
ma'am.
I know you
understand.
have things that we need to do, and based on our feedback and direction, you always try to listen, so I appreciate that. But just moving forward, let's try to see if we can help with the frequency and the length of.
And I'll be honest with you, right? There is no perfect way to set an agenda, but there's give and take. And so for all of us, there'll be some give and take in it all. And I agree with you. We shouldn't meet every Tuesday, unless it's something that needs, I feel like you need to know about it, but so that you're not surprised. Now, the developers and some of these other EDC items that come up, because of the time and the money, that's involved, they may need a quicker decision, and that's why we would want you to know. I don't, there are some mayors that will take it upon themselves to go ahead and do the deal with the developer and then come back and tell the council, here it is. I don't want to be that, I don't want to be that mayor.
Call a special meeting.
Okay,
Let's
all right,
do it.
all right,
Let's have
so
a special
put it on the record that that's what.
Okay.
you know.
We need 'em.
I
We need
I
'em
think,
sometime.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I know where to go
Okay.
with this discussion.
Great. All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, it was good discussion. Next item on the agenda is a good news report. Boy, do we need that. Raylan, would you come up here with some good news, please?
Allison is out
And you
on
don't-
some other business, so
we didn't tear-
Raylan is filling in for us
We
here.
didn't tear each other up, so good. Thank y'all for that debate.
I'll try to give y'all some good news. Real quick, so we know that summertime is over, but we just wanted to report that we did have a very successful pool season. Lots of kids enjoyed parties and definitely enjoyed the new slide this year. We successfully completed the mural walk and all of the other things that were going on September 16th. We had the ICMA video crew with us that day, so we'll be sharing that video with y'all later. And obviously, planning is underway already for the November 11th British Bash, the November 25th Shop Local, and then the December 9th Holly Jolly. I was able to pull the Placer report, which I thought was some good information. Generally, on Saturdays, our downtown sees about 600 individual visitors, and we registered right at 1,500 for Saturday, the 16th. So that was really good. Also, I thought it was good to add, the following Saturday, on the 23rd, we had another 1,000 people downtown. So hopefully, we're starting to get some of that word out. Some of the downtown development, everyone is enjoying the rooftop lighting. I know everyone's very happy that they're all one color. That was huge. We are making way with the new landscape project. This will be bid out in October and will bring to Paddock and City Council recommendations the 1st of November for December planning. We are also going to be bringing in October design options for the Paddock and TERS for the 2 parking lots there at the corner of Virginia and Moore. And then, as you know, we've been talking about the reallocation of the county transportation bond money. We had a really good meeting with COG yesterday afternoon. They gave us some feedback on the updates for Complete Streets and that programming, and so we'll be preparing that to come back to council in the next month or two also. Some little bit of small business news. Paddock has approved some new application processes. We've really kind of streamlined the application and also those requests to the board. They have expanded some of their grant monies to the downtown district zone properties and not just the CBD, and hope to help some of our existing property owners on the outskirts of the central business district. And they have also looked at incentives for some of our new business owners for some lease assistance. So we are looking at updating that. Continue to meet with our small business owners. Our Lyric tenants are up and business is open. They also hosted their first event, which was the Mural Walk on the 16th. CareFlat recently entered into an agreement with the City of Terrell to begin operations at the Terrell Municipal Airport. So y'all will be getting updates once the Emergency Management Coordinator, Dustin, finalizes the details on that new facility contract. Allison put together some Water 101. This information will definitely be shared with you, the council members, and also with our residents, just kind of going through some of the history of our water and sewer rates, some of the increases that we've obtained from North Texas Municipal Water District, and kind of how that has played out over the last 2 years. And then just some basic citizen tips to help minimize those bill increases. Community partnerships, everyone is out and about and has been over the last month visiting with TBCC. We had a great exhibit opening out at the Heritage Museum, honoring all the Terrell schools, and then also some meetings with the TISD School Board. Terrell Fire Department conducted the 9/11 ceremony that was put on by the mayor and also Chief LeCroy on September 11th. Streets are definitely moving forward. As you know, you set aside funds for local street engineering, which will begin very soon. That street construction, those projects will be brought to you, and actually construction will begin in fiscal year '24 and '25. Approximately 90% complete on the near 4.5 miles of the roadway construction that you approved for this last fiscal year. Lots of right-of-way mowing and some new striping that's occurred downtown. And looking forward, your downtown, we've constantly working on expanding events. The lighting and landscape will continue to work through that. Public safety, a new fire station, competitive pay for fire and police. Y'all will receive an update on that station task order during your October 6th City Council meeting. Animal Adoption Center, we had a walkthrough with the architect and the construction manager this week, so we'll be bringing you some updates as far as the different phasing for that particular project. And the never-ending replace, repair, and regrade for our drainage and streets. And that is it.
All right, thank you, Raylan. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Ms. Smith? All right, next on the agenda is our consent agenda. All consent items are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion and one vote. Is there anyone who wishes to pull anything off? All right, which one?
Items 8.3 and 8.6.
All right, so we will consider all of the agenda items except for 8.3. That's going to be ordinance number 3006, and item 8.6, which is ordinance number 3009. So the consent agenda will consist of all but those two. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda minus items 8.3 and 8.6.
Have a motion, is there a second? Second. Have a motion from Phil Robinson, District 5, a second from Grady Simpson, District 2, to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 8.3 and 8.6. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries for unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 8.3.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight on second reading ordinance number 3006, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, granting a specific use permit under the provisions of Section 31B, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell to Ben Ensley, allowing an exception to the provisions of Section 30, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell for certain property more particularly described as Lot 1, Block 1, Metro Crest addition to the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, by permitting a construction dome for cement storage to be located on said property currently zoned as light industrial, LI, according to the plat attached hereto as Exhibit A and made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for a repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. And this does come to you today on second reading.
All right, this is, I think it's ordinance number 3006, is it not?
correct.
Okay. All right, you got
So,
2102 on there.
Yeah, just
3006. No, you're
All right,
Yeah. So while Dawn's going to ordinance 3006, just for reference, this is roughly at the corner of MetroCrest Way and US 80. It's going to be on the south side of the railroad tracks. There's an existing concrete company there, and the concrete company came forward and said, behind our concrete operation, we'd like to have a cement dome. We saw a graphic of that cement dome during Mr. Snap's presentation last time around. That was the video where we saw that graphic. And it did pass through our planning and zoning with a positive recommendation. And I'll just turn it back to Mayor.
yeah, was that a 6-0 vote on the, it was P and Z, okay, yeah. All right, go ahead.
I just want to reiterate my opposition to this. I feel like it conflicts with our expressed intention of protecting and beautifying our city entryways. It projects the image of Terrell as being an industrial town as opposed to a great place to live and raise a family. It's right at our city entryway. It's a giant concrete dome. It's very industrial. I would like to see us, at very least, get some commitments from the concrete company to put something aesthetically appealing on the dome, maybe like a large Terrell Tiger logo or flag, something that will really,
And I think,
I don't really want it there at all, but if we're going to do something, I'd like to see us do something to kind of make it aesthetic,
okay.
you know?
And so what I would tell you is that I agree with you on your protection of the entryways. However, this is already an industrial area. It's not, and so it's zoning and they have the right to be there. Not a lot that we can do there. What we could do is do what we did, which was bring them in and say, look, if you're going to put this here, we want city input. Staff did that, and I think they did a great job getting what they got out of it. And I think that they mentioned that they would consider doing something painted on the outside. So I would hold them to that if moving forward.
Yeah, that door's open, and we'll dispatch Mr. Snap to go work with them on that topic.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. So is there a motion on item 8.3?
Yes, Mayor. Motion to approve ordinance number 3006.
Is there a second? We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 4, to approve ordinance number 3006. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? Do I need to vote?
You need to vote, Mayor.
So I vote yes, so it's a 3-1 vote. Motion passes. Our next item on the agenda is 8.6.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you today on second reading ordinance number 3009, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, amending Appendix 1 Fee Schedule, Section 27, Water Service Rates and Charges, paragraphs 1 through 4, and Section 28, Sewer Service Rates and Charges, paragraph 1 of the revised Code of Ordinances of the City of Terrell, Texas, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. And again, this does come to you today on second reading.
All right. Again, Phil?
So after talking to staff extensively about this matter and, sort of getting the full history and scope of where we are with the water rates and where we are today, I still believe that we're in a situation where we can't vote against the water rate increase. It is what it is currently. But I would like to ask staff to begin, first of all, to potentially work on a report for us to be presented to council detailing all the factors that feed into our high rates so that we understand fully why this is happening. Include everything from the utilities department operating costs, employee wages, debt being serviced, improvement costs, current projects, our status as a customer of North Texas Municipal Water District versus being a member.
Yeah.
I want to understand the full scope, if that could be presented to us at some point, so we can kind of understand how to begin solving this problem. And I'd also like to ask that staff begin investigating the use of TERS money, specifically from TERS 1, to help offset some of these rates. And impact fees, whatever we can do to begin kind of addressing this issue. I do want to understand as well, this is potentially a question for Mike, once we vote to lock in this rate, if we do in the coming months find some means to give our citizens some relief here and offset these rates, are we locked in at that point, or when can we potentially, if we do find some solutions, when can we double back and make changes?
Well, just like any other ordinance that you have, it's council's discretion to repeal it, change it, edit it at any time.
Okay.
So you certainly have that flexibility. In terms of our common process is to consider the ordinance on an annual basis. But absolutely, you have the authority to tackle it whenever you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. And staff will commit certainly to have some special workshop time for us on water rates. Happy to do that.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Councilman.
I hear a lot about these too, especially I think about our elderly community and people on fixed income. My heart just goes out. I want to get there one day, but boy, I tell you, but I know it's necessary. I think I'm happy because I know our rates have not increased as much as we've had to pay. So I know we're being cognizant and trying to do our part. Because, if the rates increase 11%, we only go up 8%, that's telling me we're trying to do our part because we're absorbing that other 3%. So I appreciate that. But I agree. I know it's some things I can better understand, and we'll probably be reaching out to staff, or y'all reach out to me and just say, hey, this is the information I got. Let's talk through this, make sure you understand it, because I want to do whatever I can to keep those rates down. I hear that a lot, too. Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, is there a motion on 8.6?
Yes, Mayor, motion to approve ordinance 3009.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, District 5, to approve ordinance number 3009. Okay. Make sure I got 3009. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda, okay, is staff reports. These are monthly reports that we are given. I would ask the council to please review those and reach out to whomever you need to on our staff to get clarity on those items. Our next item on the agenda is adjourn into executive session in accordance with Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following. Section 551.074 personnel matters, Section 551.087 deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. We are now in executive session.